Hi,
Hello?
this one happened to be the owner of 10790 Wilshire Boulevard.
Yes,
Okay, great.
yes.
Hey, my name is Paris. I was calling. I see that you're selling the unit for sale by owner. Is that correct?
Uh-huh. I
Absolutely,
am.
absolutely. And frankly, despite what anybody else tells you, I don't think that you'll have any issues selling it. My question to you was that if, for whatever reason, in the next few weeks, you're unable to sell the property, would you be open to looking at other strategies?
The deal is we don't need to sell the condo.
Okay.
We just, we live in Texas and it doesn't need to be sold. We just don't have anyone living in it. So if it sells, it sells. We're not like in any hot hurry. So the
Sure.
market really isn't what it was. And so, a year ago it was worth 1,000,001 and now it's not. So, um, my brother and I are just kind of like waiting to see kind of what happens. So we're not in any hurry, but I mean, I can put you in my phone. You can call me back in a month. Sure.
Sure, absolutely. And I'm happy to do so. Real quick, if the property does not sell, what's your game plan afterwards?
I mean, like I said, we don't have to sell it. So,
Hmm.
I mean, we can hold on to it for the next 5 years. I mean, we don't, I mean, we pay the homeowners association, but
Hmm.
it's in a trust.
Sure.
It's been paid for since the day our sister moved in. So, I mean, we don't need to sell it. We don't need to sell it for money. We all have homes in Texas.
Sure.
My brother would be fine if it just sat there. Like,
Okay.
it doesn't need to be sold. I'm convincing him to sell it because it's a waste of money.
Hmm.
We're spending, $3,000 a month to keep it, warm and cool, and the homeowners association fees and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And we have to go out there every now and then and check on it. So I mean, it is wasting money, but he doesn't care. He's 83 and he doesn't care. My sister was 85, so he doesn't need the money. He doesn't need to sell it. It's paid for.
Hmm.
So he's like, what's the rush? And I'm like, well, because we don't have any contacts in California anymore. We don't need to go to California. So it's kind of a battle with him. But I'm, visiting with him every day and, we're discussing the situation but right now it's not a priority for him.
Got it. Okay, that's totally understandable. In order to keep the property, would renting it out make any sense to you?
Well, the property needs to be renovated.
Okay.
My sister lived there for 33 years and did no updating to it.
Hmm.
So honestly, it's going to be a property that's got to be gutted and redone. And I did talk to him about that, about renovating it and then renting it, even if it's a corporate apartment, something like that.
Hmm.
And that kind of piqued his interest a little bit. I think renting it would be a good idea, but he's not there either. I don't think he wants to spend the money to renovate it, to rent it, but it
Hmm.
would definitely need to be renovated before we could rent it.
Got it. Okay. And would
Yeah.
there be any benefit if you guys looked at like a 1031 exchange into something else that could maybe be a little bit better
No,
for you guys?
no, because we're not using it for financial purposes.
Got it.
And we don't need anything in Texas. We don't need anything in California. They're both retired,
Hmm.
so no, that's no advantage for us.
Okay. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, I appreciate thank you by the way, thank you so much for entertaining the call and giving
Sure.
having a good conversation.
Sure.
If you
Yeah.
guys do end up selling it, is that just something you guys are like looking to keep the cash? You just cash out basically?
Oh yeah, he wants cash. He wants to sell it as is. And honestly, the money goes back into the trust when
Sure.
it sells. So I mean, they're not even going to benefit from this sale because
Hmm.
the way the wills and the trust are written, it goes automatically back into the trust, which is a foundation here in Texas.
Okay. That makes sense. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to, have a conversation, see what looks like. We can look at what it looks like to sell it. We can look at it like what it looks like to rent it. Would having that conversation and having some like solid numbers in front of you in terms of both routes be of value to you?
Not at this time,
Okay.
but maybe if it doesn't sell in a month,
Sure.
but not right now, just because really, honestly, it's just not a priority for him.
Totally get it. Totally get it. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
if I may ask you when in your opinion, I know you said next month, when in your opinion would be a good time for me to follow up with you?
I would say probably like maybe like January 15th.
Okay, mid next month.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. And then on my sheet here, it just has your first initial. If I can get your name, then I'll be happy to send over all my information, including my resume. That way, you know like who you're talking to, basically.
Lisa Leak, L-I.
And this is your cell phone number that I called?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, Lisa. I'm gonna send you my brief contact information. If I can get an email as well, I'll email over my resume.
It's Mar. Yes.
Perfect. I'll send over that information shortly.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Okay. You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Lots to talk about. Lots to talk
Yeah.
about. First off, good conversation. How do you feel it went? I muted out, by the way, her name and her email and all that stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah, of course we're gonna protect that. But so, how do you think you did?
I think it was good that she was able to talk so much. I think I got a couple good questions in, but I feel like there's probably some stuff I might have missed to get the conversation. Maybe something I missed to keep the conversation going, or maybe make it more enticing for her to have a conversation now versus next month.
Yeah, and hey, listen, 30 days is in the grand scheme of things, I think pretty short from a conversion cycle, right? So putting
Mhm.
that aside, and we'll come back to that. I think that to me, like as a sales guy, I'm like, man, that is like as good as it gets from a prospect being open to having a conversation. She's leading you on to believe that the brother maybe isn't that motivated, but then everything she shared, all the emotion that she shared, tells me something completely different. The $3,000 a month that they're incurring in cost, the stress and the headache she has to meet with her brother, talk to her brother. I think she said on a daily basis. I mean, it was the the reflex resistance, Paris, that she was trying to communicate to you as a
Mhm.
salesperson over the phone. But then she also opened her hand up a little bit to that would suggest that there is a lot of motivation there. And so, couple things specifically. Number one, you got right into like a qualifying questionnaire without having necessarily any rapport. And
Mhm.
what I mean by that is this. So your question was you've identified the right person. Okay. I'm talking about the structure of the call. So
Sure.
we call the prospect, we find out it's the right person, we find out the person is selling by owner. What I like to do is first establish kind of like a cadence to get into a comfort level. So instead of coming maybe right out of the gate and going for the kill, so to speak, I might
Mhm.
have a conversation that are easy for the prospect to answer, that get them excited about the current conversation. So I might say, um, is the property still available, or did you already accept an offer? I love that question because the for sale by owner says, man, I might have one here. I might have one here. No, it's still available. You'll hear their tone have a little upswing at it. No, it's still available, right? And so, okay, cool. And then I'm going to ask them another question. I'll identify myself as a realtor, and I'm going to ask them the first question on the script. Hey, this is Paris. I'm a realtor, and I know you're selling it on your own. Are you open to agents bringing you a buyer for the property? Well, yes, we are. Right now, they're even getting more excited. And then I think the biggest piece of feedback I'll give you is you beat around the bush. If this is like a normal conversation, when I say it is as good as it gets, there probably are far and few between conversations where you could have asked the if then hypothetical question. All we would have had to do there is ask the question, if in 30 days you guys can't sell the property, would you consider potentially having a conversation and interviewing me to list and sell the home? Like, that's the question we've got to ask her. Now, we got around to it, and we generated what I would qualify as a good opportunity, a good lead in 30 days from now, which is fine. Because if she says yes to that question, which I think she would have, she also mentioned there's no representation in California anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use that information to leverage a discovery appointment right now. There was an appointment to be had on that call is my entire point. So
Okay.
if I'm having that conversation, I say, listen, Nancy, whatever, Lisa, I think her name was,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like you guys don't have anybody here in California. If for whatever reason you guys end up not selling it, well, first off, before that question, check this out. So brother's not in a big hurry to sell, or it's not a priority or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She talked about price. Cool. I'm going to use both of those to structure a great question that I was hoping you were going to ask. All you would have had to ask is, I guess, Lisa, let me ask you. I mean, I sell properties like yours every single day here in LA. If I could help you guys get this property professionally on the market, get it sold, get you guys a great offer, is that something you guys are totally against? That's my first question. Are you totally against that idea? So that's my first approach in qualifying the opportunity. That's number one. Maybe she says yes. Maybe she says no. If she says no, not right now, which is arguably probably what she would have said, then I would say, cool, no big deal. Let me ask you this before I let you go. It buys you time. It sets the prospect at ease so that they know it's almost over, and it calms them down so they don't feel the need to like just want to hang up on you. So you say, great, well, I guess let me ask you this before I let you go. Paris, if you can't sell the house and you guys are down in Texas in 30 days or 60 days, at that time, would you guys be maybe open-minded enough to have a conversation about what it could look like working together, and I'll handle the entire sale? Obviously not asking you to agree to anything right now over the phone, but maybe, are you guys totally opposed to having that conversation in the future? Well, no, we're not. Boom. Okay, cool. Well, can I make a recommendation before I let you go? Universal yes question. Why don't we do this, Paris? This is how we set appointments. Why don't we do this? I'd be happy to jump on a conference call or a Zoom with you and your brother and the family, at least share with you a strategy to get the property sold for the highest price, so that when the day comes, you guys can decide if I might be a viable option for you guys down the road. You against that, or would you maybe be open to a 30-minute conference call with you and your family? And I'm going to go for that appointment. That is an appointment opportunity phone call. She says, no, not right now. Okay, cool. Now my follow-up is on getting that appointment.
Got it.
Now, you did fine. You stayed in the park. Hey, when would it make sense for us to talk again? She said January 15th. Perfect. Great. We're going to send her the resume. We're going to get her. You already got her email address. We're going to follow up with her. All that's perfect. I would have liked that to been that January 15th, that her expectation was that the next interaction, moving the prospect through the sales funnel, would be an appointment, not another conversation. Now, you're going to need to work on that in January. So that next follow-up is getting some type of discovery appointment when you can get her and her siblings together on a conference call, on a Zoom, meeting each other, establishing rapport, opening that relationship to see if they're comfortable with the idea of you potentially in the future to help represent them in the sale of that home.
Okay. Well, that's actually really good advice. Thank you.
So I know I threw a lot at you. You're going to have to go back and listen to that recording, but there was so much there that it just felt like you were kind of like shooting from the hip with the questions. Like there was no strategy on like how I'm going to approach the conversation. Not script. I don't want you to be scripted, but just the questions you were coming up with. Were you coming up with them just kind of like on the fly?
Yeah.
That's fine, but I would have liked the approach of the questions to be different and less beating around the bush. Is that something that you tend to do? Like you're getting there in a way that is very soft. Is that kind of what you do?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're going to be better off, and I think the prospect will appreciate it more if you just shoot them straight. And the
Okay.
way you can do that is like, hey, before I let you go, I'll just tell you real quick why I'm calling, and people like that. They like to be, when they feel you're beating around the bush, you're actually raising the prospect's resistance. You're giving, because there's not a lot of, the conversation doesn't have a lot of substance. Because it's so surface, like, just get me off this phone. There's no value here for me, So being a person of influence means that you shoot people straight and you get to the point and you're direct, and it's not about being mean. It's about being direct in a way. Can I be of service to you? And being of service means you have this property you need to sell. Y'all live in Texas. It's like, that's a huge need. That's a great opportunity for Paris. Anyway,
Absolutely.
let's see
No,
if we can
thank you
get
so
another.
much.
Yeah, let's see if we can get another good conversation. Let's keep calling these FISBOs. That's a great lead, though. You generated a good quality lead in less than 1 hour, and you generated it for free. I mean, that's what I love. That's my takeaway so far.
Exactly.
Because I could sell that lead to you, but you did it by yourself, and you generated it. It was great, and you did it in 47 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I look at prospecting. A lot of people are like, but it's like, look at it for what it is. You just generated, in my opinion, a good, solid listing opportunity in 47 minutes of your time. You didn't have to sign up for some marketing thing. You didn't have to commit to a 6-month Zillow ad spend. You didn't have to do any of that. You just sat your rear end in a seat for 47 minutes, and you got, I don't know, what is the price of that property?
It's probably going to be around $1 million to $1.2 million.
Yeah, it's great. So I would be putting the full court press on that, meaning I'd get them out a handwritten thank you card, right? Thanking her for her time to her house in Texas.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then sending her a nice email, a nice text. Hey, Lisa, appreciate your time. If you need anything in the meantime, let me know. Have a great holiday. I'll talk to you in January, type of thing. Happy New Year, all that kind of stuff. Getting out your resume, all the stuff, all the things.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, let's get another conversation.
Thank you.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
What's your take on voicemails?
80599.
If it's the right person,
68 is
hang
not
that up,
available.
I'll tell you. On a first dial, if a voicemail picks up and it's like, hey, you've reached John, and we're trying to get a hold of John, I'm going to hang that up, and I'm going to text that guy immediately because I know it's the right number, and I'm going to mark that in the system, delete all the other numbers, and put that so it's nice and organized so we can actually try to get a hold of John.
Mm-hmm.
So on a first contact, I don't like leaving a voicemail. I just like to text him right away. So if we're calling and we get John's voicemail, we're trying to get a hold of John, and his voicemail picks up, we just hang up and we text him immediately.
Okay. All right. So let's.
And have you checked to make sure that your numbers doesn't show up as spam? Have you already done all that, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it showed up
Okay,
fine
cool.
this morning.
Perfect.
And that person just hung up. Now that you've mentioned it, I kind of want to check it again.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you, you want to try to call me with it?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, you're good.
Good?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, let me make sure. Let me make that out. Yeah, that's what I thought, but okay, so let's continue. Hi, Kyun? Hey, Kyun. I'm not sure if I'm calling the right spot. My name is Paris. I was calling in regards to the property on East 46th Street. Is that your property? I guess not. He hung up.
So I would text him, say, hey, we got disconnected. Can you jump on a quick call? So anytime people hang up on me, I don't call it quits until I close it out, because you'll find a lot of those people will engage, because most people won't re-engage. They'll just run away because they're too scared. But as soon as that person knows you're a real human being, like, and it's not just some crazy spam call, they'll engage you.
No.
Hey, I was calling for Golden Key Properties. Am I calling the right spot?
What are you calling from?
My name is Paris. I was calling in regards to the property on Ruggiero Avenue. Is this the right number?
One second. I would have to have someone call you back
Okay,
regarding that.
got it. Okay.
But what's your name?
My name is Paris. So are it sounds like you are associated with at least somebody that runs the property on Ruggiero?
Yes, I will just have them call you.
Okay, that's fair. What
And what
information can I leave for
of
you?
your
I'm sorry?
and where are you calling from again? Where are you calling from again?
Sure. My name is Paris. I work with the Cunningham Group. We're a real estate team, and we were calling in regards to the property on Ruggiero Avenue because we saw it came off the market.
Mhm.
So we wanted to have a quick conversation with the owners to see what happened there. When do you think would be? I know you said you're going to have them call me back. Do you think there'd be any good time that maybe I can call back? Because obviously life gets a little bit
Uh,
busy.
I'll even call you back like within the next 2 hours.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, you can.
Mhm.
What I can do is let me give you the number in case the caller ID didn't show up.
It shows on my caller ID.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Mhm.
Well, you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Bye bye.
Mhm.
All
All
right.
right. Only thing I think that you handle that well. The only thing I'd like to do there is literally find out, just ask one qualifying question. Do you know if the sellers are still wanting to sell the property?
Okay.
Because if that is some type of representation, that gives her more motivation to get this person on the phone with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I received a phone call this morning from somebody. Sounds like it probably makes sense to have a conversation with them. So I like to ask one qualifying question to someone representing the sellers to
Mm-hmm.
see, do they know if this seller still wants to sell the home? Well, yes, they do. You might hear them perk up a bit, because now they can provide value in that communication when they go back, relay the message.
Okay. For sure.
Outside of that, it's fine. Tough. I mean, it's not the right person. So
Hello?
Brenda?
No.
I apologize. I was looking for the owner of Castana Avenue, 6026. Okay.
showing up.
Yeah, she hung up. All
So
right.
to get that, just to change one small thing, because their resistance is so high right there,
Mm-hmm.
just come out of the gate with a no oriented question. So because it catches them off guard, you're just, so instead of saying, hey, I'm looking for, because now you're asking for something from them, right? They're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
screw you. I don't know you anything, right? Instead of that, then get right into, well, just say, you're not the owner of, you're not the owner of 123 Main Street, are you?
Okay.
And even before that, which is a really good thing to do, you could say, hey, before I let you go, real quick, before I let you go, you're not, right?
Okay.
So try that framework. Anytime a conversation seems that the prospect has a very high resistance to the call.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, listen, before you, just like that, hey, listen, before I let you go, you're not. And then that will buy you a few more seconds to prolong the conversation.
Got it. Okay. For sure.
Hello?
Is this Sylvain?
Yes.
Hey, Sylvain, my name is Paris. I was calling in regards to the unit on Kantara Street. Is that still available, or did you already accept an offer?
No, it's available.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so my name is Paris. I'm a local realtor, and the reason I was calling is to basically see if, for whatever reason, if the property hasn't sold in, a few weeks, would you
No,
be
that's
open
fine.
to?
I'm gonna rent it. Listen, I'm gonna rent it. If I don't sell it in like a few days, I don't have any offer. I'm gonna put it back to rent. Thank you for your help.
Before I
If
let you
you have
go.
a come now, if no, it's not interested. I'm not interested to sell anymore.
Okay,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's why
And
I didn't took an agent.
absolutely, I totally understand that. And before I let you go, real quick, if you were, if an agent were to bring you a buyer, would you be open to working with that agent?
Of course.
Okay, perfect. So what I'd like to do here is, if it makes sense to you, I'd like to come by and preview the property, see if it would make sense for some buyers that we have. Would that be, would you be opposed to that?
Can you come with the buyer, with the potential buyer, so we don't waste time?
I totally agree with what
Because
you're
next
saying.
week I'm gonna put it back to rent next week.
Okay, absolutely. Um, I totally get that. Basically, what I like to do is I like to preview for my buyers and see because I know what they're looking for.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a visit some Saturday. So most of the day I be there Saturday. If you wanna come show up or just give me a call anytime Saturday.
Saturday? Okay. Did
Okay?
Saturday did
Yeah.
did morning or afternoon work better for you on Saturday?
I'm gonna be there in the morning and then I have another visit around noon. So you're gonna have to come anytime, but just let me know.
Okay. How does late morning sound? Like 10 a.m.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. And
sounds good. Just keep
is this your cell phone number, Sylvain?
yes, yes, you can call me direct. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll just send you my info so you know who's coming by your home.
sounds good. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
We hit eject, beat around the bush. So let me just I want you to never forget this what I'm about to tell you is that sales, like selling,
Hmm.
starts when the prospect tells you no.
Yeah.
So it will be extremely rare in your life, in any business you ever do, that when you come out of the gate with a first ask, that they say yes.
Hmm.
So when we said, I forget how exactly how you asked for the opportunity. He said, no, I'm going to rent it or whatever he said. You just totally retracted and went to the whole buyer route.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
don't ask the buyer question because we want them to believe we have a buyer, right? We don't want to go down that road, right? And I know you've heard me say that before. It was the path of least resistance for you. You're like, shit, I might as well get something out of nothing. That's probably why you went down that road, right?
yeah,
That's fine. That's fine. You're gonna go see that guy Saturday.
yeah.
Yeah. So all we have to do, I think, the biggest takeaway is you structuring if then questions. It's going to help you so much. So that guy, right, who says, if I don't sell it next week, I'm going to rent it. Cool. Can I ask you one question before I let you go? You get used to that.
Mhm.
All you have to do is ask them a hypothetical question that is exactly what they want this way. So if we role played it and you said, dude, I'm going to rent this thing. If I don't sell it, I'm going to rent it next week. Cool. Can I ask you a quick question, Paris, before I let you go?
Sure.
I don't, I wouldn't even think you'd agree to anything over the phone. But I mean, if I could generate an offer for you and it made sense financially, it was exactly what you needed with the terms. I mean, is that something you're totally against? I know you're not looking to work with realtors, but is that something you're totally closed minded to? Be honest.
No, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
We don't know how they're going to respond.
Yeah.
But that's how we have to ask the question, right? Because isn't that exactly what they want? It's hypothetical. They can answer a bunch of different ways, which is the reason we need to meet. Well, how are you going to do that? What does that mean? I don't understand anything they say. Then the next thing you say is, well, can I make a recommendation? Another universal yes question. With whatever they say, And they say, well, sure. Well, then I can say, well, why don't we do this? And Paris, listen, I don't mind at all. I'm not suggesting for a second that you make any decisions that you think don't make sense, but why don't we get together? Why don't we have a conversation? I'll show you how I can get the property sold, get you the money net bottom line after paying commission. And then you decide if that's something that you find value in or not. Because let's face it, the only way you hire me is if you feel I can put the money in your pocket that you need bottom line. Can we agree on that? I mean, isn't that the only way someone would hire you? Is if what I just said was true? And I use the word feel strategically. So that would be a framework on how we get better, higher quality conversations and get to the conversation around appointments. That, to me, is what I think you need to work on the most. That will you're going to get so much more out of these conversations, because everything else, I think, is fine. You know, like you got a lead, you got an appointment, cool. All of that's great. But if you can really work on when somebody gives you an objection, okay, that's when my job starts. And then all I have to do to respond to any of that is to be agreeable with whatever their objection is, and simply ask an if-then hypothetical statement or question that is exactly what they want. So if I could help you sell the property in the next week, net you the money that you want. I mean, isn't this exactly what he just told you he wanted?
Yeah.
And I could show you how to do that. I mean, is that something you're totally against? And I like to go no-oriented on that question. And I like to use the word totally. I mean, is that something you're totally opposed to? Are you totally against? Are you totally closed-minded to exploring something like that? And then whatever they say next, can I make a recommendation? It is a universal yes question. Sure, what's up? Then I go for the appointment.
Okay.
Cool?
Very cool.
All right, I'll send you this recording. I'll get it posted probably the next day or so, but good stuff, man. You listen, in an hour, we got an appointment. We're going to go see some real seller face-to-face, and you generated a seller lead. I mean, I would say that that's a good dial session, you know?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool, brother. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
Take care.
All right, bye.